Okay, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. I am the Boiling Point from the Sky Academy. Please make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to get more videos. Now, I will be solving all your questions that I gave you during exams. So I want you to just watch this video intentionally. What did I say? Intentionally. So we are going to be taking all the questions one after the other. But meanwhile, let's start with the first question. Okay, I have that the distance meter. Okay, let me write it. The distance meter moved by a particle. The distance meter moved by a particle in t seconds. In t seconds is s is equal to 25t plus 12. Then they said find the initial speed. Find the initial speed. Then option A is a 27 meter per seconds. Option B 30 meter per seconds. Option C 25 meter per seconds. While option D is 28 meter per what? Seconds. Now, before you solve this question, first of all, you must understand what we are looking for. Now, they say the distance, which is in meter, and that distance was moved by a particle in t seconds, is dash. So they say find the initial speed. It means everything will they look for this question, and I need what they call initial speed. Do you get? But if you check the question where they give us distance, and they ask us to look for initial speed. So how do we solve it? Now look up, write solution and sign. Now remember that the distance is equal to 25t plus 12. This is a t. 25t plus 12. And I'm looking for what? Velocity or initial speed rather. So we use what we call differentiation method. What I talk? Differentiation method. We get differentiation, we also get what? Integration. So anytime where they give you distance and ask you to look for speed, use differentiation. And sometimes they will ask you to look for velocity, also use differentiation. Then sometimes they will give you displacement and tell you, say, may look for acceleration, use differentiation. But if they give you acceleration, can't tell you, say, may you look for the displacement, you integrate. So I'm going to show you the steps of differentiating before you can be able to solve this question. Now, if you want to differentiate, the first thing you need to do is to, number one, first step is to consider the power. Waiting I clock, consider the what? Power. So that is the first step for you to solve this question. You consider the power. The second thing, you repeat the question. Waiting I talk. I say, may you repeat the question. You get them. If they give you a question like this, you repeat them. So repeat the question. Then the third step is that you subtract -1 from the power. Subtract minus -1 from the power. So how many steps am I going to use to solve these questions? 3 steps. The first one, under differentiation. Differentiation simply means reduction. So you're subtracting. Are you getting me now? So the first step is consider the power. Which will be the power. The second thing is repeat the equation. The third one is subtract -1 from the power. For example, now, if they give you something like this, y is equals to 2x raised to power 3. You see, y is equal to 2x raised to power 3. Now, you differentiate y in respect to x. You're differentiating y in respect to s. If you're differentiating y in respect to f, you will get something like dy over dx. You see, because you're differentiating y in respect to s. So the first question where you go ask yourself, consider the power. What will be the power here? Should be na power na 3. You write 3 times. What will be the equation? 2s raised to power 3. 2x raised to power 3, which is number 2. Repeat the question. Then number 3 says subtract minus 1 from the power. You now subtract minus 1 from the power. So you now have it as the y over the x. Will now give you what? 3 times 2 is 6. I'll have it as 6s raised to power 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. That is 6s raised to power 2. So the dy dx of this question is 6s raised to power 2. That is how to solve any equation under what? Differentiation. So can we tackle this question now? Yes. Let's tackle this question. If I'm to tackle this question now, I'm using this format. What I'm going to have something like this. X is equal to 25t plus 12. This is the first term, this is the second term. Now, in this case, I have x, I have t. So I'm going to differentiate the x over the t. That means I'm differentiating x in respect to time. I'm differentiating x in respect to time. And the x and the t, now wetin they call speed. We call am speed. Why? Because speed na distance over time. So these two things na wetin they call speed. Speed. Let me use this. Speed. And if I'm differentiating, remember the first step, consider the power. Wetin be the power here? Here na invisible one. So I get invisible one here. I'll write am 1 times. Repeat the equation. What is the equation? 25t. You see am? 25t. Then what is the power here? 1. Subtract minus 1 from the power, which is minus 1. You're done with this. Then plus. Then if you go to this one, you discover that I will be having 12. So there is no variable here. That means it's a constant. The differentiation of a constant is equal to what? 0. That means everything here is equal to what? 0. So I'll have that velocity will now be equal to, or you talk to me, 1 times 25. 1 times 25 is 25. Then 1 minus 1 is 0. Then I'll now have it as 25t raised to power what? 0. And you know that anything raised to power 0 is what? Is 1. So you will now have it that velocity is equals to 25. Then times what? 1. Remember, initial velocity initial velocity or initial speed rather, at initial speed, time is equal to 0. So, and there is no time here. There's no time here. Why? Because our t is raised to power 0 and our 0 is what? 1. That means initial speed, which is v, is equal to 25 meter per what? Seconds. Do we have 25 in the option? Yes. Abi? Okay. Option A na 27. Option B na 30. Option C na 25. So the correct answer here na what? 25. That is how to solve question under this. You get it? That's how to solve question under this. So the next question, which is question number 2, without wasting much time, question number 2, they ask us, which of the following is not, which of the following is not, which of the following is not a system of units? This one no be question now. I get question where they go ask you or more, you get angry and leave the hall. But me, most still solve am. Number 2 question. Which of the following, which of the following is not a system of units? Is not a system of units. Option A, SI units. Option B, MKX. Option C, CGS. Option D, OBS. Sometimes physics na people where they get scores for head. You can't ask yourself, what be OBS, but what be? But we have three system of units where I give now. Remember the three system of units where I give now. Number one is FPS. FPS, that is number one system of units. The second one is what we call CGS. Then the third one is called MKS. What is FPS? FPS simply means foot, pounds, seconds. Let me still repeat it. FPS simply means what? Foot, pounds, then what? Seconds. That is the meaning of FPS. Then CGS simply means centimeter, centimeter. Then gram, and seconds. Why the third one is meter, kilogram, then seconds. So these are the basic three system of units that we have. Do you get? Now this MKS wey you see like this is also known as Standard International Unit. That is the most generally accepted unit all over the world, MKS. It means that the unit of length is a meter, the unit of mass is kilogram, and the unit of time is seconds all over the world. Do you get that? So if you watch, they say which of the following is not a system of units? Number one, SI unit. SI unit is a system of units. Is here. Then option B, MKS, which is also SI units. They are trying to, but still the same thing. Then number three is CGS. It's also here. But number four is OBS. We don't have anything like OBS. Maybe you say it's OBO. But there's nothing like that. So the correct answer is option what? D. D is not a system of units. So let's go down to question 3. Question 3. Question 3. Question 3. How do you solve question 3? Okay, the reason why I left this because it's relating to the question 3. They say a car covered S is equal to T plus 5T square. Determine X velocity and acceleration. Determine X velocity and acceleration at T is equals to 3 seconds. Now let me repeat this question again. They say a car covered S is equals to T plus 5T square. Determine X velocity and acceleration at T is equals to 3 seconds. Now the question we go ask yourself, this question is coming from what? It's coming from what we call instantaneous velocity and instantaneous acceleration. Why? Because it is a velocity that occurs at a particular time. Why is the time here? 3 seconds. You see, so how do you solve this? So there are two things we are looking for. We are looking for velocity. We are looking for what? Acceleration at T is equal to 3. Remember what I tell you. The first thing what you go do, you say you go write solution and sign. If you know write solution and sign, you be say you know sabi wetin you dey look for. But meanwhile, we will solve this question. Now they gave us that the displacement of a car is S is equal to T plus 5T square. I've told you if they give you displacement, I ask you to look for velocity. You will differentiate once. If they ask you to look for acceleration, you will differentiate 2 times. Now, if we have that X is equals to T plus 5T square, so I will differentiate X in respect to time. So if I'm differentiating X in respect to time, I will have it as the X over the T. Differentiating X in respect to time, I will have it as what? The X over the T. And what is this S over the T? Remember, X na displacement, T na velocity, and na time. So displacement over time, now wetin dey record velocity, I will get my velocity, which is my V, right? So I will now follow the step of differentiation. What is the first step of differentiation? They say consider the power. So wetin be the power here? Now 1. I go write 1 times am. Then the second one say repeat the equation. So this is the equation, which is t raised to power what? 1. So the third one is subtract minus 1 from the power. I will subtract minus 1 from the power. I'm done with this. I will now move to the second one. And for me to move to the second one, there is an addition sign here. I will now write plus first, then move to the second one. So what is the power for the second one? The power is what? 2. I will write 2 times. Repeat the equation. What is the equation? 5t raised to power 2. Then subtract minus 1 from the power. Have it minus 1. Is it say you know hard? You can come tell and say, therefore, velocity is equal to, or talk to me now, 1 times t na t, 1 minus 1 and 0. So I can't get an as t raised to power what? 0. You see, I'm saying no hard. So I can't say plus, then come here, I will now have it as 2 times 5 na 10. 2 minus 1 na 1. I will have them as 10 t raised to power what? 1. Now, if I have it as 10t raised to power 1, so remember, we are looking for velocity when the time is what? 3. So if I'm looking for velocity when the time is 3, remember, according to the law of indices, anything that is raised to power 0, now we think that they call what? 1. So I will have v is equal to 1 plus 10t. Remember, you are looking for the instantaneous velocity when the time is equals to 3 seconds. So that means anywhere I see t, mfanye 3. What did I say? Repeat after me. Anywhere I see t, mfanye what? 3. So if I see t, I go put an 3. So shall we now? I will now have that v will now be 1 plus 10. Is that t here? I'll open the bracket and put what? 3. Now this bracket means multiplication. That means 10 times 3 na 30. 30 plus 1 na 31. That means the velocity na 31 meter per seconds. Just sign am. That is how to calculate for the word velocity. But for me to calculate for the acceleration, that means I will differentiate this thing twice. Wetin I talk, I will differentiate it twice. If you're looking for velocity, you differentiate it once. So for me to get the acceleration from here now, okay, from here now, I'll have that v is equals to 1 plus 10t. Remember, you're differentiating velocity in respect to what? Time. What are you differentiating? Velocity in respect to time. You have it as the v over the t. Velocity over time. Now, wetin dey call acceleration. So remember, if I should differentiate a constant is a number without a variable. So if I differentiate a constant here, is 0. So here is 0 plus. Now, follow, there's a variable here, right? What is the power of this variable? An invisible one. I'll have 1 times, repeat the equation, which is 10t raised to power 1. Subtract minus 1 from the power, which is minus 1. You see, therefore, you now say acceleration will now be 1 times 10, now 10. Then I'll have it as 10t. 1 minus 1, now 0. So 10t raised to power 0. You now say, therefore, acceleration is equal to anything raised to power 0. Now what? Now 1. Abi? So I'll go 110 times 1. 10 times 1 now what? 10. So the acceleration now 10 meter per second square. 10 meter per second square. Can't tell them. Therefore, I to tell them say you sabi wetin they do. Therefore, velocity, the value for velocity na 31 meter per seconds. While the value for acceleration na 10 meter per second square. So that is how to tackle any question under this format. So question number 3. Question number 3 first. Question number 3. Question number 3. Question number 3. Question number 3. Hey, physics is sweet. Are you getting me? If you understand the concept of physics, now one of the easiest things to tackle. So Question number 3. Now, look at this question. They said a force of 5 Newton. You see this question? I go want make you pay much attention to this question so that we can fly. So a force of 5 Newton. So wetin be the force? 5 Newton. Is inclined. Once you don't hear this kind of question, some of you will say, ha, these people don't come again. Is inclined at 45 degrees to a horizontal force. To a horizontal force of 8 Newton. Find the magnitude of the resultant force and x direction. Wow. And x direction. Come on. Hey, and they don't give us option. Now they want test whether you sabi with you they solve. Now I'm read that question very well. Look at it very well. A force of 5 Newton, and this force of 5 Newton is inclined at 45 degrees to the horizontal. That means I fit get vertical and I get horizontal. I may have something like this. Watch what I'm doing now. This is called vertical, this is horizontal. Do you get it? So they said a force of 5 Newton is inclined. So I get a force here. And that force now 5 Newton. You see am? And that force is inclined at 45 degrees to the horizontal. That means if I come to the horizontal, which is this, I'll have it at 45 degrees. Is it hard? No, it's not. So at 45 degrees to the horizontal force of 8 Newton. Now me say this horizontal also get their own force. Wetin be their force? 8 Newton. Find the magnitude of the resultant force and x direction. So how do you solve this? Make I clean this board very well so that I go fit explain how to solve this. Physics, very simple. If they give you some question, what do? You just get angry and leave the hall for them. Hey, hey. All right. We'll check how we go take solve this. I will get something like this. Now, what wetin I go do? For you to solve this question, you go resolve.